Still your thirst beside the river. Wash the journey from your hands. Feel the comfort flow inside you. Come this far, you understand.
Hi, welcome to Healing Outside the Box. I'm Rosemary Lachance, a spiritual advisor and teacher.
Hi, and I'm Carla, Agustyn, a spiritual teacher.
And tonight we are continuing our Life Explained series, which will give you food for thought information about spirituality based on the teachings of Hans Wilhelm from his series. We will play one or two different DVDs and then have dialogue about it. We encourage you to call, email us, or write to NHTV with your questions, and we will answer them on the show or privately if you prefer. This is not a religious show, and no matter what religion you believe or that you follow, the information we give you will only enhance those beliefs. We do not try to convince you of anything. This series is recorded, will be shown in your area on your local public service cable network. Please contact them for dates and times.
Please visit Rosemary's or Hans's website where you'll find a wealth of information about our show and this series. Now, our shows are available for you to watch on YouTube for free. You just go on YouTube and type in Healing Outside the Box to make your choices. We're constantly adding new shows, so keep checking back. Now, we're also on Facebook under Healing Outside the Box. Please like our page for the latest information about our show. We hope you enjoy the show.
Okay, tonight's show is titled Global Disasters. Where is God? And as soon as they get it up on the monitor, we'll listen to it and then we'll have some dialogue about it.
When we look at the world, we see there is an awful lot of pain and suffering, like the pandemics, refugees, wars, hungers, persecutions. It looks like the bad forces are winning and there is nothing we can do about it. Many are asking if there truly is an all-powerful God, why doesn't he intervene and give comfort and help to those who need it? It's a valid question. After all, every day people by the millions pray to God for his help. Is God not listening? Did God take a coffee break? In this video, we will explore the answer by looking once again at the bigger picture perspective.
As we have learned before, we are all spiritual beings made of light or love. Over time, many of us have acted against the law of love and with that burdened ourselves with soul burdens or karma. And the fastest way to undo our soul burden is to incarnate to planet Earth. Every time before we incarnate, we are shown a life preview of how our future life as a human being will more or less look like with all the difficulties and challenges that we would have to face. Watch my video on life before birth. But in spite of all these challenges, we have wholeheartedly agreed to this incarnation because we knew that in this short school visit to planet Earth, we can grow faster and clear up more karma than we could in the spiritual realm, where it would take eons and eons. Furthermore, and this is very important, this time around we were shown that planet Earth will also go through drastic changes. We knew that we would be born into a period of major transition, upheaval and cleansing so that the Earth can go into a higher frequency and become divine again. An event of epic proportions. Yes, we knew that our life here would probably be more difficult than ever before. In spite of it, we have agreed to be here during this special time, and many also came to help in this time of transition. Besides life itself, the greatest gift God gave us is our free will. And to make sure that we use the free will wisely and according to the law of love, we are provided with a lot of help during our life here on earth. Firstly, every culture in the world knows a version of the golden rule that says, do unto others as you want them do unto you. Or the other way around, don't do to others what you don't want them to do to you. Very simple and straightforward to live a positive life. We also have the 10 Commandments, the Sermon on the Mount, and our conscience to guide us. Furthermore, each one of us has a guardian angel who is always by our side in critical moments. So God gave us a lot of help, a lot of roadside assistance for our incarnation so that we can achieve our goal to become divine again. But when we ignore all this help and think, speak, or act against the law of love, we create new karma according to the law of sowing and reaping. As we have seen in my videos, that karma is stored up here in the repository planets of the material and semi-material cosmoses. Karma is not punishment, but a consequence of our actions and a powerful teaching tool. When this karma eventually comes back to us in this or a future lifetime, we will experience the pain and suffering we have inflicted on others, so that in future we will never do it again. Again, a very straightforward and simple process. The problem is that we humans are slow learners. We only learn either through insight or through pain. The insight is when we follow the golden rule or our inner guidance and help. Unfortunately, very few are willing to follow their insights. Most of us need to experience the karmic pain and suffering before we make the much needed and long overdue changes. These repository planets up here don't only store our individual karma, but also our collective karma that we created together as a group, society, or country. Let me give you some examples. For instance, with our taxes, we collectively spend $2,000 billion every year for military expenses like bombs for the sole purpose to kill other people and destroy their property. Think about that. That is obviously against the law of love. That money could have gone to feed the hungry, the destitute, clothe, give shelter, and educate millions. For profit and selfish reasons, we have polluted the earth, the water, and the air. We have harmed the nature kingdoms, raped the earth, burned the trees, enslaved, tortured, and killed billions of animals, and so much more. The list goes on and on. All this is stored in these planets. But now the time has come that these planets are full and ready to download all that negativity back to us. It's a purification process for our soul. We are experiencing the flowing out of our own karma so that we can finally be totally free of it. This downloading can look horrific, like pandemics, wars, blows of fate, hunger, and nature disasters like floods, fires, and hurricanes, and so on. It all comes back to us and planet Earth as a gigantic cleansing, which will eventually bring the Earth into a higher and purer frequency to become divine again. Each one of us is differently affected by this epic event according to our own individual karmic burden. Let me repeat this again. When we use our free will and act against the law of love, we create karma that gives us our drama. So here we are now, in our total misery, and cry out to God, God, help us! Please stop all the bad people from doing all that horrible stuff. Help us in our suffering and our pain. Where are you, God? Why don't you hear us? Every day millions of people are pleading for relief and comfort from the karma that they are experiencing. God always listens to his children because God, the Spirit of love, is in each one of us, in every soul. But think about it. If he would suddenly intervene and take away our fate, he would interfere with our free will, and love never does that. Furthermore, if he would suddenly stop all these disasters, would we as souls have truly learned anything from that? Wouldn't we in no time be back and doing the same negative actions like before, back into the same old patterns? So by experiencing and enduring these terrible effects, hopefully our soul will eventually recognize that each one of us has created this mess, this drama, to ourselves and to the earth. No one else to blame. Once we have taken full responsibility for our action, felt deep remorse in our heart, asked for forgiveness, offered amend, and don't continue the negative way of life, divinity, God, will then be able to help us even more and assist us, if we ask for it. So God does intervene for us once we have made the required 180-degree turnaround. Unfortunately, so many of us humans have moved further and further away from divinity. Therefore, it is not always possible for God, the Spirit of life, to support and heal His child immediately or instantly. If our unlawful ways have become ingrained in us, we no longer know how to invoke the healing ether powers. We have shadowed our soul and slowed the rotation of our 7 consciousness centers so much that the healing and helping ether powers cannot become effective immediately. It takes time, but once our karma is transformed, the blockage is cleared and God's divine energy can then freely flow and nourish firstly our soul and then heal our body. We can assist the spiritual world, helping us all through positive goals and thoughts and actions. Then we open ourselves to the powerful divine help that our Divine Father so dearly wants us to have, because God wants us back home, back into the absolute reality. He asks us to accept His help and His hand to guide us through this dark period. His love will make us free and strong and give us the safety that we so desperately crave for right now, so that we do not escape into resignation or are controlled by fear. I believe that His invitation to us is beautifully expressed in the 23rd Psalm, "The Lord is my shepherd." If you don't know it by heart, Google it and read it over and over again. I'm looking forward to seeing you in my next video.
Okay, we're here.
We got a little plant problem here. It was going to fall down.
Problem.
So that was pretty powerful, huh?
Oh, wow. I love this one.
Yeah.
I thought it was so timely. I'm so excited.
Yes.
He put it out there and that we're going to talk about it tonight.
That's right. And these are questions people ask. They ask me all the time about these different things.
Right.
They want to know, why, where is God?
Why? Where is God
How come
in
He doesn't
all
help
of
me?
this? How many times do people say that? Whether they're in their own personal life or whether it's, globally.
Right.
Right? People will ask.
When he was
"Where's
talking
God?"
about, he said if He took it away, then we wouldn't have learned anything. We would go back to the same way. And it was reminded me of, remember that earthquake in California where it was really bad, the bridges, everything came down, and people went there and they were helping people. They came from all over, and actually when it happened, they weren't workers, they were just people from all walks of life, just went and helped everyone, and it was just wonderful. And for about, 2-3 weeks after that, a month, everyone was so nice to each other. And then it went right back to the way it was.
Right back to the way it was, yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So that's how we are.
Right.
Right. we go back
have to
to
work
those...
on ourselves.
Oh.
Right? It does start right in your own backyard. It's like you have to start with yourself. Yeah, no, I'm glad he brought up some really interesting things. So to start off, he says the Earth's undergoing drastic changes, like there's a major upheaval, so the Earth can go into a higher frequency and become divine again, which is interesting. So he means literally the Earth.
Right.
Right? He means the Earth, a cleansed Earth.
Well,
With the people in it, or just the Earth as a material thing?
The people too.
And the people too.
Yeah.
So
the people are the dirty germs on this Earth.
Okay. All right. So all of us on the Earth and everything on the Earth need to go into higher frequency to become divine again. And then he says,
some of them may not go into higher frequency. Some of them may pass over, may lose their lives in some of these disasters.
Well, that's the thing. He says there's going to be, and I'm quoting, event of epic proportions. So what's going to happen?
Right.
Right? What is going to happen? That's
well,
my question.
As far as what I have been reading and studying all these years, first of all, there's going to be the earth disasters, which are the storms, the earthquakes, the volcanoes, the hurricanes, all those very strong storms, and a lot of people are going to perish, especially earthquakes. And so the people the ones who, I don't know who will or how, whatever, but that will take some of the people off and clear some of the things up. And then I also heard possibility of another war. And you know what happens in wars.
Right.
You know, so this may be the East fighting the West. We're the West. The East is over China and all that, you know.
Right, right.
And we can see by the news and the way things are going, it's not too good in China for us, you know.
Right, right.
But, I mean, don't quote me on this. These are just things that I have heard down through the years, you know.
Right.
And so when the cleansing will be that, you know, the people need to be cleansed. The earth itself is beautiful. We have raped it, plundered it, destroyed it, and we've done awful things to our beautiful planet. So when the people are gone, or the ones who wake up or whatever, the earth will be cleansed. That's what will happen. And then the disasters and storms, it's like the karma. It's not that God is sending us any of that. God does not destroy. God does not punish. He doesn't do anything. All right? He just loves us. The evil and that comes from us, that is what causes these things to happen. And
That's
like he said, group karma or individual karma, karma is nothing more than us agreeing to work out our problems, work out what we did wrong, make amends for it, okay? Now, that's individual karma. Group karma would be what's going on, a bunch of people together doing bad things in a certain position. That place may be, you know, like around the equator where it's hot. Around the equator, a lot of things happen there, as you notice, the wars and the things that go on. And that's because it's stronger there. Those people that live there are more warring type people, you know, so that's what that is. But so people, you know, karma, the word karma got a bad rap. They think, oh, I'm being punished. I hate that word.
Right. I always did too. I learned about this being here. But I find it interesting that I guess, like, why? Why can't the earth just be so rotten and all the people on it just dragging everybody else down? Why is it that kind of like the earth fights back? Do you know what I mean? It has a drought, or it has, you know, a storm, or it says pestilence, or has...
Well, what it is it's not that the earth fights back, it's that evil is a thing. It's not just a word.
Right.
It's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's an energy.
Vibration.
Yeah,
it's an energy.
Yeah.
And that energy, you picture the waves going into the earth and rumbling it, like say in an earthquake, and rumbling it and all that, and that starts to break it up and starts to have it happen, or into the atmosphere, being in a hurricane or whatever is happening. Those things happen because of us. We make them happen.
Right. Yeah.
And Bill Gates saying he's going to go and do something to change the weather patterns, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Totally, completely ridiculous.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Because the karma, the karma, the group karma will have it happen no matter what you do.
No matter what you do.
Yeah.
All right, so if all this happens, then, okay, so these events of epic proportions and all this upheaval, how can it distinguish who to take out and who not to take out? You know, I mean, how does a storm waters or disease, how does it know you go to this store and not this store?
Okay, I'll ask you a question. Yeah. How does a tornado hit one house and destroy it completely?
I know, it happens.
And then next door, it wasn't even touched.
Right. That
will answer your question.
Yeah.
What's meant to be will be, and what's not is not.
Okay.
That's why I told everybody about not being so worried about COVID. You're going to get it, you're going to get it. If you're not, you're not.
Right.
You're going to get it if you want it. You want to go up and kiss somebody who's sick, okay, you got it. That's stupid.
Right.
But if you live your life, everybody dies on time.
Right.
So the same with the storms. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Now, I would venture to say, from experience, that people who, and you can't fake this, who truly love God, who are truly spiritual, people who help one another from the heart, not look what I did, that type of thing. You know, do your deed and walk away. Things like that. People that do things like that. People who pray and people who talk to God. I don't mean go to church. Church doesn't make any difference at all. I mean what's in the heart and soul of your person, you know. Somehow, some way, if it's not meant for you to have that happen to you, you won't.
Right.
You won't.
Right. You're protected.
Yeah. And sometimes there's a group of people living in one area that are all the same like mind, that are dark. And that whole area gets flattened. There's nothing is a coincidence.
Right.
Nothing happens by pure circumstances.
Right.
Everything
So
happens
it's,
for
right.
a reason.
So it's either somebody's time to go, or this whole idea of evil kind of being swept away. I mean,
what does that mean?
like, who gets chopped? Do you know what I mean? Like, who, you know, like the tornado hitting this house and not this house. Doesn't necessarily mean the house that got demolished, there's negativity in that household or evil in that household.
Well, if the house got demolished but the people didn't pass over,
then they're fine.
Then
they're fine.
It's not, you know,
Right.
It may have been a little something they had to work out to lose their house.
Right.
But they were okay.
But they're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to trust that. You have to believe that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you will go out of your mind
Right.
worrying.
Right. Well, that's some of my questions coming up. I thought it was interesting that he said so many have come to help, and we agreed to come at this time. So whether you were born in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, you know, whatever you were born,
This century.
you were meant to be here during this time,
You
even
came,
with everything. So you came for a reason. So should we be trying to figure that out?
No.
You know, just let it go.
Yeah.
Just live your life,
It'll
right?
come to you.
It'll come to
You'll
you.
know.
Live your life.
You'll know what it's here.
Okay.
This is a great, great turn of time. All right? The last great turn of time was when Christ was born on this earth. Now we have a prophetess that's born who is just underneath Christ. And people don't believe it, but that's how the literature is that I tell people the book on the website at the end, gives you a wealth of information about everything, okay? And it's a great turn of time because it is going to be cleansed, just like Hans said in the video, what he's teaching you, because we study the same place, okay? So, I have so many things in my mind.
No, I know.
I'm forgetting what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's going to be a time. But you said it's a time.
Why we came, because we came to help. And it's not something you say, oh, I better start helping people now because no, it's either in you or it's not in you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you don't help somebody just to show that you can do this. Just say, I wonder if God's watching. You don't do that. It's either there or it's not.
It's an inner journey here. Yeah.
So people came at this particular time to help.
Right.
Even if people are the people who say go to, well, it used to be Red Cross used to be good, but now they're stealing money and all that I say. So people who will go themselves and will bring food and clothing and pack it and do stuff to help people because they like to help people. People who work in soup kitchens. People who do it honestly because they want to help, because they feel for these people. They feel bad. Those are the people who came to help. Other people are teachers that came to teach people
during this time.
Which
It's
we're trying to do.
Time.
Yeah,
right.
we're trying to wake people up. So then they physically help them or teach them that way, teach them spirituality, whatever the case may be.
Right, and even if you're like, well, I don't know, if you're watching and you're saying, well, I'm just a regular person and I go to my job and I take care of my family, well, that's what you're meant to do at this time. If you're lead a good life.
Yeah, not everyone here is
not everybody's meant to
No.
be at the soup kitchen. Not everybody's meant to be saving the world. Not everybody's meant to be all these different things. But you're there. But you being good and whatever it is that you do, you being a helpful neighbor, you being, good to other people's kids.
Yeah, things will come
like
in your life. Even if they're small little things here. There you go. Opportunities will come
to be good.
To not to be good, but to help.
Just to help, right.
To help people.
To help.
And you always have the opportunity to read and study and everything. There's a group on Facebook, it's called Life After Death group, and the people are always asking these very dumb questions. And I want to say, why are you doing that? There's books. And I put the books up there.
Right.
They want somebody to tell them. Just like there's an animal thing, and they'll say, well, my cat has this, what should I do? And I said, call a vet. That's what he's there for. And somebody got mad at me. Well, and then somebody else said, she's right. Why do you wait? The cat is suffering. Why are you doing that?
Right,
See, the mentality is not good.
Right.
So what I'm saying is your mentality should be, what can I do to help? You see something happen, you see a poor man on the street, you go buy him some food and give it to him. You help a lady across the street. There's always opportunities every day to do little things.
There's always opportunities.
Yeah, you don't have to do some big, gigantic thing.
Right.
Not everyone is here to do that.
Right.
what you feel
Little
called
bits
to
of
do.
kindness.
Yeah.
Little bits of kindness.
What you feel
Yeah.
called to do, you can't fake it.
Right.
It may be small things, maybe bigger things, maybe big things.
Right.
But you'll know if you open your heart and you just pray to God and just say, tell me what you want me to do. Tell me how you want me to do it.
Right.
I'm yours. Do you love God? You have to honestly love him. You can't. He doesn't. He knows what's in your heart and soul. You can't fake that.
You can't fake it.
No.
No.
So that's what you can do every day. Talk to him. You don't have to go to a church or anything. Actually, there's more negativity there than any place. You can go in your garden. You can go in your bedroom. You could go in your library. Whatever you have, and be quiet. Go by the water. And just have a conversation like we are. No special prayers. You don't have to recite these prayers that are, like a rosary thing over and over. You don't have to do that. Just talk like I'm talking to you.
Just talk.
Talk to him like that and say, here's my problem, blah, blah, blah. He knows, but he wants to hear it from you.
Right.
And your angel is right beside you all the time. Never leaves you. You're never ever alone.
No, never.
Never alone.
You're never alone.
Nope.
Even when we're at our most lonely,
That's right.
we're never alone.
That's right.
God is always around. Our angels are always around. They are always there to listen.
That's right.
Yeah.
See, people don't believe that.
They
a lot of people
don't,
are,
and
if I can't see it, it can't be true.
Right.
What's that thing? Blessed he who believes and but does not see.
Yeah.
You can't do
Right.
that. It's just, you either have that feeling or you don't. In my heart and soul, since I was a kid, I knew there was something more.
Yeah, me
I always
too.
knew. And then as I got older, I started to search for it.
Right.
But it's, and you even if you didn't believe it when you were young, it's not too late.
Oh,
It's not
no,
too late
it's never
to
too
ask.
late. Everybody's different.
That's right.
We're all different, and we all get on the journey at different times, and it's so unique to all of us. So there's you could be sitting listening, and you're 80 years old, 90 years
That's
old.
right.
It doesn't matter.
That's right.
And it's like now is your time. Nobody. This is why no one can judge. It's because I don't know the life you've had, But when you're ready to be spiritual, you'll start getting those nudgings. When it's time to change your life, you'll start getting those nudgings.
You will.
That this isn't, that you're really not hanging out with the right people, that you're not spending your time wisely. You can't help it. Those angels are very nudgy, and they're always signaling us when to.
You got to be aware.
Yeah,
You got to be aware.
Being aware of it.
When I was leaving a job and I didn't know what I was going to do, and I thought about doing something spiritual and work, and I started learning how to teach and how to do healings. I was wondering, and I remember on a ride to a friend's house who was very spiritual, I keep seeing these road signs that would be like words of, don't be afraid to try, or this or that. There were messages.
Yes,
and
messages.
Because I was alert, I've read the sign and I go, wait a minute, is that an answer? And then I go a little farther and be something else. Maybe the next day there'd be something else. They're there. It could be a road sign. It could be you get in the car and there's a song comes on the radio. Do you know what you're going to do today?
Right, yeah, right.
Who knows? Whatever it is.
Right.
Anytime, any place. TV show. You watch a show and you see something that really touches you that they did. And you go, could I do that? The messages are everywhere.
Everywhere.
And God sends animals into our lives. And they bring messages. If you see constantly see some certain animal coming, a bird, a cat, a dog, anything, some kind of animal, even if it's on TV, but you see it all the time, look it up. There's books, again, there's books that'll tell you what message this animal's trying to give you.
Right.
Nothing is a coincidence. Everything happens for a reason.
No,
Every single thing.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am really fascinated. Here we are. It's January 2021. So we've just had a year of the pandemic, and I am so fascinated with the children being born now. The idea of children that have been born the last few years are being born during the pandemic, are going to be born in the following years. Like babies are, the souls inhabit the baby, right? And so they're full.
Right, the time of birth.
Right, they're full souls. They know what they're getting into, right? All these babies, I find it so sweet. All these babies being born in 2020, they all know what they're getting into, and yet they still come. Why? What's your best guess as to why they're choosing to come now? Not the greatest time to come. You can't go anywhere. You can't see family. You can't go to school. You can't do this. You can't. It's not the greatest time to come. A lot of fear out there. But they're coming. Why do you think they're
Not
coming?
all of them have come to help.
Okay.
Some of them have come at this particular time for the karma that they can work out in these times if it gets really bad, because they had to make up for what they did. You know?
Okay.
So some of them are here. They
see it as a great opportunity to get a
there you
lot
go,
done,
an opportunity,
to
right?
grow
Because
spiritually.
when the new world is formed, you won't be able to incarnate like it did before. Those kinds of people that have the very heavy karma and very heavy loads won't be able to incarnate on this planet to do it. They'll have to work it out in the other spheres, planets that are there. They're teaching planets, okay? You'll have to work it out there, which it takes a lot longer, because you'll be in a place where everyone thinks like you. And when you talk to them, they'll say, oh, you're all right. No, it's, you know, and it takes a long, long time till one day you get fed up and say, I want to get out of here. I want to talk something more interesting. You move on to another plane or something like that, or you may be able to come back to Earth. But the people of low vibration will not be able to
They're
incarnate.
not going to be able to come. No. So that's what the Earth's going to do then. This is what he's saying. The Earth is basically going to fight back because there's just too many people of low vibration that
they're causing what to happen,
and then causing what's
and Mother
going
Earth
on.
is responding to what's happening. The planet has a soul too. Mother Earth has a soul.
Right.
It's like the moon and stars. All of them have a soul.
Yeah.
They're all there. Those planets and the moon and star are there to support the Earth. There's no people living on them. But sometimes when our space brothers come from other planets, they may stop on one of those planets before they come. You know, they know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing, but they know what they're doing. But there's no life there. They're just purely to support this planet. Okay? And then we get out there and mess around even out there, sending things up into the atmosphere. Man is a destroyer. He's a destroyer because he wants to be powerful and all-ruling. And that's what's going on now. The people who want to rule the planet are incarnated right now, big time.
Right,
So-
right. Oh, God help us all, the rest of us. Let's see. Okay, so what guidance would you give to our viewers that they're confused, they don't quite know what to believe, they don't know what to do, they're feeling shut down? You know, I mean, it's overwhelming, right, to think about this. You know, it's overwhelming to think that things are going to start happening because of all the evil in the world, especially if people don't see it. You know, there are a lot of people who think, other than the pandemic, life is dandy, you know?
Yeah, and they think that...
I mean, life is good. I love my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I can see the evil outside. You know, I can see...
And it may affect you directly because
Right.
they're getting more and more totalitarian. And it'll probably be more of a totalitarian government in the future. People think that the new administration is going to make things all perfect again and save you and do that. But beware of two-faced people.
Right,
Beware of
right,
false faces, false fronts,
Right.
false words, lies. Beware, beware, because
Right.
it can't come when people act a certain way. You have to know that they're not. I don't care who the person is they're treating badly. You don't do that if you're a good person. You just don't
Right.
do it.
Right.
You don't treat somebody like that
Right.
if you're a good person.
If you're a good person.
So if they treat somebody else like that, they're going to treat you like that. But people don't think that because everyone's wrapped up in their own lives and everything.
Right. So
So what do you want me to tell? Ask. What's the question you asked
yeah,
me?
no. Just if people are feeling shut down and all of that, what or they're confused, like, well, I don't think there's any evil. You know what I mean? Like, what do you tell people?
You have to look
be,
around if you don't think there's any evil. You got to
know,
look around, see what's going on.
Right.
You know, maybe in your own little world. But people are. One thing that the masks do is they separate us.
Right. Terribly.
I mean, sometimes someone's talking and I look at them, I say, are you smiling? You know, and I'll pull my mask down and say, yeah, I'm smiling, you know.
That's my new thing.
Yeah.
I just always pull my mask
Yeah.
down and smile at people
Right.
and then put it back up. So.
See, though that's separate. People were meant to hug each other and
Right.
be hello and
So
smile.
you have to ask what, right? I
Yeah.
mean, there's the evil.
Right.
What is this really that's going on? You know, to question things. After
Well,
a
evil is
while.
very smart. It knows that you can positively
It knows
control.
how to deceive. That's why it's evil.
Yeah, right. But it knows you can positively control people through fear.
Yes. Right.
That's what the Catholic Church does, through
Right.
fear. They're telling you you're going to hell. There's eternal damnation. There's no such eternal damnation.
Right.
What father would do that to his children? You wouldn't do it to your children. You think God would do it to us? None of those things are true. But fear controls.
Fear controls.
completely controls. And right now people are in a state of fear. And it makes people do things they would never think of doing otherwise. You know, fear.
Right.
So that's another thing.
Right.
So
Right.
there again.
And having a false sense, I feel like, of who loves you. You know, the government does not love us.
No.
Celebrities don't love us.
No.
Powerful people, billionaires, don't love us. But they do love control, and they do love power.
And
Who
riches.
loves you, hopefully, is your family, some members of your family, your friends, your community. That's who will genuinely love you. But these outside influences, they're not who loves you, and they're not necessarily doing what's best, you know, for us. And that's, I think the pandemic was a wonderful opportunity to wake up to what was really happening here, what's really happening to us. You know, you could look at it. We were talking a little bit before the show. You know, yes, there really is a virus that's out there, and yes, it's something to respect and take seriously, because yes, it can affect people, especially that are older, have weakened immune systems, and all of that. But then there's the reality also that 99.9% of everybody survives this.
That's
you would
right.
never know that this year.
No.
If you turned on the radio, if you turn on the TV, if you listen to politicians, if you listen to mainstream media, if you if you didn't get your news elsewhere, you wouldn't know that. And there's just too much to go into now. But I think when something just doesn't really quite feel right, just start questioning it. But the most important thing, I think, is to, go back to living a good life, being kind, being compassionate, trying to be helpful, minding your own P's and Q's in terms of your own behavior. Don't be so concerned. I mean, we've become a culture, or we're starting to become a culture of, oh, you're not wearing your mask, I'm judging you, and I am wearing my mask. It's fascinating to me also, because fear is the opposite of love.
Yes.
And so we don't want to live in fear, we want to live in love. And when we do feel fear, it's something to work on, right? But it's fascinating, we're becoming a culture of people saying, I'm afraid, therefore I'm taking the virus seriously. People are somehow making it okay that they're so fearful, and trying to virtue signal that it's because they're taking the virus seriously. It's crazy what's going on with the fear.
I know. And it's just a virus like any other virus.
It's a virus.
And these things that happen that the news is telling us about now is nothing that didn't happen before, but news didn't tell us about it. The news does a lot to bring things out and to cause panic. My mother used to say, if you hear it on the news, it's got to be true.
Right.
Well, I said, Ma, no.
Yeah, no.
That's not
There's
true.
always agendas.
Yeah, there's agendas.
There's agendas. So, well, I like how he lists, there's a lot of help to actually become divine again. And so, which is an interesting phrase, divine again. What do you think he means by that? To become...
Well, when we were created, when we started out in the heavens, we were divine. There's a saying, and it should be a mantra for everyone. It'll really raise your vibrations. God is, and I am divine. God is, and I am divine. God is, and I am divine. Say it 3 times every day, many, many, many times a day.
Yeah.
And it'll raise your vibration, it'll make you closer to God.
Yeah.
And it means we were divine. We were born divine.
We were born divine,
Yes. We were born divine.
Yeah.
And somebody said, I want more. I want to be God.
Right.
And therein caused the revolution, and we fell. We were all angels, and we fell. And all this that's happening to us now is all our own. No punishment, nothing. We did it ourselves.
We're making amends right now. Living here, we're making
People are
amends.
trying to, stop worrying about who, what, where, when, and why. Just do it. Just be the best person you can be. And not because you want a reward, just because you want to get home again to God.
Right. So, but the best thing too, it's one question's leading into another question. Because he does say, and you were touching on it before, Each of us is affected by these disasters that are going to happen, pandemics, future pandemics, vile behaviors, negativity, natural disasters, and all of that. But he says we're going to be affected differently depending upon our own karmic burdens. So, you know, that's kind of like, oh, ruh-roh, you know, what do we, how do we save ourselves? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? How do people get back on that road? I mean, he does go over, you know, the golden rule, follow the golden rule, follow the 10 Commandments, follow the Sermon on the Mount.
That's all you have to do. Those
That's
two
all you have
things.
to do. Just live that life, follow it.
The 10 Commandments, the Sermon on the Mount.
Yeah, you're going to be okay.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
But you think it's easy because it's only one thing?
No,
two things?
no.
It's not.
The golden rule, 10 Commandments, and the Sermon on the Mount, following our own conscience and following our guardian angel. And it's like, it's there. The help is there. We're not alone. But we have to, you know, we have to get our own house in order. You know, we have to watch our own behavior.
We can be an example.
Right.
You know, we don't even have to talk to anyone. We can be
Right.
an example just by doing our own thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Just do our own thing.
Yeah.
Don't act against the laws of love, as
Right.
he says all the time.
Right.
Don't go against the law of love.
Don't do to someone else what you don't want done to you.
No.
That's all.
No. And don't live in hatred. I think what's really surprised me over the last few years, and is the amount of hatred. And I'm not saying this to be political, but you know, the president that was elected in 2016, there was so much active hatred from really good people, you know, that I know. And now there's a different president, and there could be hatred again. Like, no matter who so it doesn't matter who you vote for. If you voted for the guy in 2016, but not for the guy in 2020 or vice versa, like, don't have hatred. You know what I mean? That hatred is evil,
It is.
and it invades good people.
I know.
You know, it just invades good people. So,
Do they know why they hate? I don't know if they know why they hate or not.
yeah.
Hate certain people. I don't know. I know
Well, don't
people.
we can have like feelings come up. You know, we're human. We can have really strong feelings come up, but
Hatred is a
but
really
to go
bad
down
one.
the road of hatred. I mean, look how old we are. A lot of people haven't voted for or got into office, and I seriously don't like them. But to live in hate,
I know.
I can't say I've ever lived in hate
Hatred. I
of
know.
someone, you know, constantly, you know, work to get them out of office. Don't listen to them. Don't look in their eyes. Whatever it takes to get through your own life. But to live in hate, that's concerning to me as a
It is.
spiritual
It really-
teacher.
And then you think to yourself, could you do a better job?
You know?
If you were that person that you hated, no matter what the job is, from president down to any your bosses or your colleagues, whatever, they're doing something different from you. Could you do a better job? Could you?
Right.
You know? Think about it.
Well, even if you could, you know, even if you could, I mean, you're not out there doing it, but even if you could, I mean, you know, there's been things I've done better than other people in life, but I don't hate them. You know?
In life, yes, but when you're out of your whatever, and like you're a president, that's a big job.
Right.
That's a big, big job.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So, and everybody's so quick to criticize, not just president, but everything in life. People are so quick to criticize
true.
other people.
Right. Right. Very easy to do. Yeah.
They don't look at themselves.
Right.
And instead of sending
well, they
them,
don't have compassion either.
instead of sending the hatred, and I can do this, or he's wrong, or this, she's wrong, why don't you send love to them and pray for them? God, guide them. If we all sent love to every president we had, they would do a much better job. Much better job.
Well, that's a good idea. Now,
Or anybody, not just him, not just the president, but anyone. Sending love to each other. People have sent healing to each other. That really worked.
yeah,
I was involved in it at one time. I remember there was three of us, and it worked.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just out of the blue before I knew anything about healing or anything else. It worked.
Prayer is so powerful.
Yeah.
Intention, so powerful.
That's right.
Sending, it's the easiest thing to send. Good thoughts.
We could make it a different world. We could raise our world vibration up if we all stuck together and loved one another. But no, we're quick to criticize. You did that. Look at her. She's one. Oh, look at her hair. Look at her this. Look at him. He's about. That kind of thing is just going to bring us down, 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 down.
Right.
It's. Look, it's time. We reach the precipice now. Okay,
right.
Which way? Who's going to fall off? Who's going to go on and help?
Right.
It's time. It's there. It's
time.
before us. It's now.
It's
I'm sorry,
now.
to say that, but it's true. And you don't have to believe me. Just look around. If you have any kind of sense, you can see what's going on.
Right.
And what can you do about? Maybe you can't do anything on the big things, but could you do small things?
You can do the little things.
You could send out the love. You could help people. You could be kind to people.
Pray. You can
Okay,
pray.
and people who are not kind,
others.
people who are mean to one another, you don't have to socialize with them because they're just going to bring you down.
They're just going to bring you down. Yep.
Yeah. Somebody's like that, and you can get that vibration to know how they are. Someone who's deceiving and everything else.
Right.
Okay.
Right. No, and I love that. He says, when people don't know what else to do, then they look up and say, oh, where's God? God, why aren't you helping me? And it's because, but if you continue negative behavior, God doesn't go against your free will, so why would God not help you, but he can't help you. You're exhibiting negative behaviors, and so it's not like he can. I do think even if you go, God, I need your help, and you're clueless, right, that you're your own problem.
Yeah.
I do believe God still helps, but he sends signs. He sends opportunities for us to turn it around, for us to realize the error of our ways, but still, if you're blocked and you're not, you have to have a sincere conversation with God. Like,
that's right.
I'm missing something. My life's a mess. I don't want it a mess, and I'm missing something. What am I missing? Help me learn, right? We need a relationship with God. And I fear people, I don't want to say fear, because I don't live in fear, but I do fear that people have gotten so far away from God, and there's no surviving this without God.
And you know why? Well, a lot of it, look what the world is doing. Look what those in charge, the shadow people are doing. Taking God out of everything.
Out of everything.
Everything. And I just saw a commercial the other night that I was shocked. It was about a dating thing, dating show or something, and this woman met this man, and he was the devil. He was red, and he had horns, and he was being nice to her and talking to her, and he was very scary looking. And what is that? They give you little things put in people's mind. Oh, well, he's not so bad. Look at him, the devil, and he's falling in love.
The brainwashing.
The brainwashing.
First
time I ever saw anything like that.
Huge. Oh, when you become aware of it, like satanic symbols, they're everywhere. So much advertising, movies, Super Bowl show, the Olympics shows.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere.
And all the people who made the videos about the people that are doing these very bad things. One of them was the fall cabal. They take them off. YouTube took it off.
Yeah.
Other places take them off. They're doing a lot of it right now.
Oh, the censorship.
Yeah, they're censoring everything because they don't want anyone to know anymore.
They don't want you to know.
They don't want. And
they don't want people waking up.
Yep, they're not waking up. And if you don't think evil exists, you better take a look around. And you know who is evil, and you know who heads all that. You don't pray to God. Who do you pray to? Do you pray to Satan, or do you pray to God?
Who do you pray to?
Yeah, who do you? If you're not praying to God, then you're liking him, Satan. Then you know what I'm saying. And this is his world right now, as you can see.
Well, this is what's scary, and I've started a new show.
Yes.
And it's called Belt of Truth.
Okay.
And it is about identifying evil, because I'm very concerned. There's so much evil in our face. It was subtle through the decades.
Yes.
But now it's so much in our face. So how do we recognize evil? How does evil operate? And then I did the first episode is talking all about that. What are the signs of evil? How do you know? What does evil do? How does it act? The importance of condemning evil, because when we don't denounce it, it's the same as being complicit in evil. And it's not enough to say, well, I didn't know. I didn't know this person was evil. I didn't know that's what they meant by that, and that was evil. It's not enough. We have to actually denounce it. If you don't, then you're a part of it. Okay, so just the importance of doing that. And I'm going to get into, I'm actually doing an episode tomorrow, and I'm going to get into the elitist and how they're controlling us and how control is evil. If you grew up with a controlling parent, extremely controlling parent, then it's not, it's evil, it's darkness.
There are societies out there who are trying to control.
Very much.
Very, very much. And people, they scroll, oh, it doesn't exist. It exists.
Yeah, it exists. It's happening right now. Look at the Illuminati.
Bilderberg Group,
Illuminati, a synonym for Illuminati is elitist.
That's right.
So, no, these groups are very much out there, and we need to be aware of them. So I'm hoping with my show that's
good. That's really
that's
good.
what we, that's what we do.
Good, good.
Yeah.
And people can find it on Facebook.
Yeah, and on YouTube for sure.
I'm sorry, I meant YouTube. I didn't mean Facebook.
And,
I meant YouTube.
Let's see, I am going to put on Facebook, but YouTube. And then, so I love how he just puts it right out there. He says humans are slow learners and they need pain to wake up. So unfortunately, that's what's happened in 2020, and it's probably going to continue to happen.
It does. It does wake people up.
Everybody thinks our life is going to go back to normal, like a vaccine's going to make our life go back to normal, and that's not the case. But it's almost, it is almost like we're at the end of the line. So either you wake up and are saved, or it's kind of like, I don't know, you're going to feel pain.
And you can't wake up. You can't start doing it just because you want to be saved.
Right.
It has to come from the heart. You really have to contemplate.
Oh, no. You've got to
start meditating and start going into the stillness and start thinking about it.
Nice way to put it. Yeah,
Not
for sure.
because you want it done.
No,
I'm going to do something nice so I can be saved.
Do whatever.
God knows what's in your heart.
It's the journey to figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like but boy, he really puts it out there. It's like now or never. Like get with the program.
That's right.
But he makes a great point. If you don't have divinity in your life, then how can God help you? So how can you? It's like if you never call this person over here, and then all of a sudden your car breaks down, and what, you're going to call her up out of nowhere and say, "Come get me," right?
Yeah.
You've never reached out to her.
Right.
She hasn't heard from you in years.
That's a good analogy.
How can you do something like that? And so I love how he puts it with God. The same thing. It's like, how can, if you don't have it in your life, you don't know how to see miracles happening. You don't understand the ways that God is in your life, the way that God answers prayers. If you don't have that relationship with God, that communication with God, you don't know when he's answering your prayers, right? All prayers get answered. It's just not always the way we think.
That's right. Sometimes the answer is no.
And sometimes the answer is no.
Because it's not the best for you.
And sometimes, right, exactly. So it's like putting yourself, but I have found with the pandemic, I have gotten closer to God. That's been the positive for me. I think we can all look at positives with the pandemic. The positive for me is I have definitely gotten closer to God because I realize how little control I have on my own life.
Right.
I don't believe I should be out there with a mask.
No,
I don't
me neither.
believe that I should be doing that. I don't have control over that. I don't believe that we shouldn't be seeing our families if we want to.
No.
But some family
Think
members
about
don't
this.
want to see me.
You brought something up that sparked in my mind. Dying isn't a bad thing. When somebody dies, a child dies, or anyone, it's that their time is up.
Right.
This is all they wanted to be here for. And a lot of people left here before this all terrible things going to happen to this planet.
Yes.
All right?
I think of the people I know that died.
Taking them off.
Right.
Dying isn't a punishment. Dying isn't the final.
No, I think of some of the people I know that died like in 2019. And I'm thinking, you wanted out of here before all of this
happened, right?
is happening. Yeah.
So don't think dying is a punishment. People think it's the worst thing in the world is to die. Why? Because they only believe in this. I taught to myself years. If this is all there is, I'm going to do whatever I want, and you could just take me now because it's not enough.
Right.
I want to see love. I want to see that loving, wonderful feeling
Well,
all the
that's
time.
what it is with Satan and Satan followers and evildoers and people that are negative energy and the dark energy and the dark forces, is that they don't believe in God. They don't follow God. You know, they follow Satan, and
some don't even know they are, but they are.
But they don't even know they're doing it.
But now they're outright, out and out worshiping him. So.
Right. We're seeing a lot of that.
But it's like, you know, you make promises. He makes promises that are never going to happen.
Right.
You know what that movie was? The Devil and Daniel Webster, I guess. He sold his soul, and he had to do what he wanted to do at the end. Did you ever see that movie?
No.
But God has no strings.
Right.
No strings at all.
Yeah. No.
But people just got to stop being afraid of dying.
Well, yeah.
It's continuation. That's all.
It's still a continuation
of life. We are forever.
Right.
We last forever. We are eternal.
Right.
Forever and ever and ever.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, I know all the religions teach different things, and they use that fear to punish to keep people tied to them, the fear of death, the fear of eternal damnation, the fear of all that stuff. But there's so many more books out there for people to read. I wish they would just do it. Take time out. If you're that scared, if you're stuck in your house, here's a good one. You're stuck in your house. Read.
Read positive things. Right. Read. Get closer
You can order
to
them
God.
online, and you could read. And I'll give you that address at the end. I'll tell you again where you can do.
Right.
You know.
Right, but just start reaching out. Even if God's intimidating, that's why I love teaching my angel classes, is because even if God's intimidating, you know, just reach out to the angels. And just talk to your guardian angel. Just talk to the angels. Ask them for signs. I mean, you know, it's funny, you know, he's saying, where's God? People cry out, where's God? But God's everywhere.
That's right.
You know, God's everywhere you are, and, you know, God is always listening. You know, so, and, you know, reach out to your angels, because your angels...
They go back and they tell God?
They work for God. They work directly for God, and they'll help you.
One last question here that you were going to say. What's the first good step to figure out your own negative behavior?
Yeah.
What do you think?
You know, what do you do that you really, in the silence, you really don't feel good about?
There you go.
Right.
That's an answer. Yeah. I'm going to leave you with that. Think about that. We have to close up now to give our contact information. All right, to contact me, 627-7966, 203 area code, whitebuffalo8@comcast.net is my email, and my website's www.rosemarylachance.com, and this important website I'm giving you where you can find those books that you can read, please, www.gabrielle-publishing-house.com. You will never regret that you did.
Yes, so you get in touch with me on my website at carlaagustyn.com, and also please, well, now I've got 2 shows. I'm going to have to change this. I've got Spiritual Invitations that's on YouTube. So if you just type my name in the search on YouTube, Spiritual Invitations show will come up, and now also the Belt of Truth show will come up.
All right, everyone. We're going to say good night. We wish you well.
Thank you for joining us.
Blessings, peace, love.
Yes,
stay
peace
well,
and
be
love.
safe.
Stay well.
Open your mind. Spread love.
Thirst beside the river.
Good night.
Wash the journey from your hands. Feel the comfort flow inside you. Come this far, you understand.